Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better and more hopeful future. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive, maximum pressure. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. But Yet I'm here today not merely to condemn the past chaos of Iran's leaders, but to offer them a new path and a much better path toward a far better and more hopeful future. As I've shown repeatedly, I am willing to end past conflicts and forge new partnerships for a better and more stable world, even if our differences may be very profound, which obviously they are in the case of Iran. I have never believed in having permanent enemies. I am different than a lot of people think. I don't like permanent enemies, but sometimes you need enemies to do the job, and you have to do it right. Enemies get you motivated. In fact, some of the closest friends of the United States of America are nations we fought wars against in generations past, and now they're our friends and our allies. I want to make a deal with Iran. If I can make a deal with Iran, I'll be very happy if we're going to make your region and the world a safer place. But if Iran's leadership rejects this olive branch and continues to attack their neighbors, then we will have no choice but to inflict massive, maximum pressure, drive Iranian oil exports to zero, like I did before. If you know that, they were a virtually bankrupt country because of what I did. They had no money for terror. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, and take all action required to stop the regime from ever having a nuclear weapon. With that said, Iran can have a much brighter future, but will never allow America and its allies to be threatened with terrorism or nuclear attack. The choice is theirs to make. We really want them to be a successful country. We want them to be a wonderful, safe, great country, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is an offer that will not last forever. The time is right now for them to choose. Right now, we don't have a lot of time to wait.
Donald Trump has addressed a US-Saudi investment conference in Riyadh. The US president, who's on a diplomatic tour of the Middle East, celebrated an almost $1 trillion Saudi investment. He also announced plans to lift sanctions against Syria and double down on plans for a deal with Iran.
I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness. The sanctions were brutal and crippling and served as an important function, nevertheless, at the time. But now it's their time to shine. It's their time to shine. We're taking them all off, and they're going to have, I think they're going to have, based on the people and the spirit and everything else that I'm hearing about. So I say good luck, Syria. Show us something very special like they've done, frankly, in Saudi Arabia. Okay? They're going to show us something special. Very good people.
And as Mark Stone reports, the president's plans to lift sanctions on Syria has been welcomed by Damascus and the United Nations.
It was an incredibly. I was just really struck at what a different tone he was hitting through what was quite a long speech. We assumed that he would be talking all about investment, and he did, all about the money that Saudi is going to invest in America, and America is going to invest in Saudi Arabia. Of course, he did all that, but the broader theme to this speech I thought was really, really striking, because notwithstanding the tariffs that we have seen over the past few months, the upending of the world order that Donald Trump has presided over since he took office, freaking out Europe and beyond. This was a speech where he effectively said America is open for business, economically and politically open for business. It was a speech where he sought to build bridges between America and its foes in the region. It was a speech where he said that America was ready to do deals with Iran, deals with the new Syria, deals with Yemen, and of course massive deals with his close friend here, Mohammed bin Salman. So the tone was really very striking, and I can tell you the audience in here, they absolutely lapped it up. There were senior officials, of course, from the US administration, but predominantly in here it was the great and the good of Saudi Arabia, and they loved every single word of it. So a really striking tone that he chose to hit in this speech, and it felt really quite different from what we've heard before. Of course, he chooses his audience wherever he is, but there was something about this. I think it will be a speech that people remember and look back on.